Welcome to KXAN News Today. 3 weeks after a student was stabbed to death at school, Manor ISD is going to be talking with families and staff tonight about safety across the district. It comes after families voiced their concerns at a Monday night board meeting. Tonight's meeting is at Manor New Technology High School at 6:30.
And you can get emergency supplies later on today as Austin is hosting an emergency preparedness. It's a pop-up they're having over at the Carver Library branch from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock this afternoon. The first 25 people to show up there are going to get an emergency supply kit with a limit of 1 per household.
And there's soon going to be a big boost to prevent and offer medical treatment for cancer in Texas. Today, the Cancer Institute of Texas is meeting, considering and voting on 22 grant applications. That money is going to be going out to about $90 million worth to multiple organizations. And the coldest air of the season arriving overnight, so now you should curl up with that coffee or tea early on. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller.
I'm Sally Hernandez. So Rich is here for Kristen, probably the most popular man this morning because it feels so good out there.
It really does. That cold front came in just before 1:30 this morning. So we've got some gusty winds. I think Erica called them crazy winds. And they'll be around for the part of the morning, and then the wind speeds will slowly subside, and that leads to a very cold start to the day tomorrow. We have all the numbers for you. Let us start with our coffee cast right now. Yes, we are now open for business on a nice chilly morning. It is 57 degrees at Camp Mabry under the clear sky right now. We're clear everywhere. Temperatures not as cold this morning as they will be 24 hours from now. We have some 40s in the hill country. Upper 40s reported at Lampasas, San Saba, Mason, and Fredericksburg. Most everyone else in the 50s right now. We are warmer this morning than we were at this hour yesterday. We'll be cooler this afternoon than we were yesterday, and we'll be much colder tomorrow morning than we are this morning. Dew points are very low in the 30s and 40s. We've got some very dry air in place. We have some wind gusts. At Mabry 26, at Craddock Field at Burnett 24, at the airport at Cameron 22, at Dripping Springs 18. Bus stop forecast is going for sunshine all day long. Drop-off temperatures will be in the upper half of the 40s. Sunny and warm pickup temperatures in the mid and upper 60s. Still to come, we have this 1 day below normal. The hill country freeze, is that still on tap? And a weekend in view coming up in just a few minutes. Tom?
Thank you, Rich. 4 homicides in a week. Austin police calling a news conference to talk about an apparent spike in deaths.
Yeah, the crimes are keeping homicide detectives very busy. All 4 recent homicides appear to stem from some type of disagreement between both people involved. It was not random, these crimes, according to police. The homicides, however, created a workload that quadrupled in only a matter of days. Despite the crunch, police say that it is not creating a backlog.
They're taxed. Oftentimes these folks are in the office before I get to the office. They're there after I leave the office. They're there on the weekends. They're there at all hours of the day and night. So it's taxing. There's no question about it.
The police chief says that she is committed to hiring even more officers, and staffing remains her top priority. She estimates there are around 318 openings right now.
Making school campuses safer increasingly a top priority for districts across the state. And in Hays CISD, the latest steps include getting rid of small, beaten-up fences and wrapping campuses with more durable, taller fences. The district says fortifying school fencing has been a priority for about 5 years. The upgrade's now possible, though, through a 2023 bond and grants from the state.
Goal with perimeter fencing is to give us as tight of a security perimeter as possible.
The district tells us that it's going to finish adding and replacing fences at its elementary schools first.
Let's go ahead and go in depth here because the new law that is aimed at overhauling school safety measures dedicated to some funding to help school districts improve physical barriers and security technology. It also requires every school district to place an armed guard on every campus and gives the states more oversight responsibility for safety compliance. Many school districts, though, did not have enough funding to pay for those requirements, and now they've requested a waiver from the state in the time of being.
There's some breaking news coming in from overnight from Ukraine. The U.S. Embassy in Kyiv closing today comes with the potential for a significant airstrike. The U.S. government advising embassy employees and citizens in Kyiv to seek shelter. President Biden authorizing those long-range missiles to be launched into Russia, and now Russian President Vladimir Putin responding, saying the threshold to use nuclear weapons is lowered.
There's new pics coming out of Washington, D.C. as President-elect Donald Trump prepares to take a seat in the Oval Office again.
To start, Trump is tapping his transition co-chair and Wall Street executive Howard Lutnick. He's nominated to lead the Department of Commerce. That department will play a key role in executing some of Trump's proposed tariffs on goods imported into the U.S.
He also chose Linda McMahon to be the education secretary. Under Trump's first term, she led the Small Business Administration. And she was also an executive of World Wrestling Entertainment. Trump has said previously that he plans to get rid of the Department of Education as it currently exists.
Another pick here is Dr. Mehmet Oz, TV personality and former Pennsylvania Senate candidate. Trump chose him to lead the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Dr. Oz would work alongside, potentially, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., as Kennedy is nominated to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. Both are facing criticism for promoting misleading and false claims about health and science.
Well, Hakeem Jeffries is now elected and re-elected as minority leader by House Democrats. Jeffries remains the highest-ranking black elected official in Congress and the first to hold the job of party leader.
We are prepared to work with the incoming administration to find bipartisan common ground on any issue, whenever and wherever possible, in order to make life better for hardworking American families and taxpayers, and to solve problems on behalf of the American people. That's our job.
Democrats are still holding elections for other leadership positions in their caucus. Welcome back, everyone. 2 people are facing charges this morning in connection to more than a dozen dead dogs that were found in a South Austin creek.
Neighbors and police found these dogs in South Boggy Creek in April 2023. Now, court documents say Fred Reese and Rafael Baez Reese face several misdemeanor animal cruelty charges. There's also this, a felony illegal dumping charge.
Yeah, police say that the pair moved out of their home on April 13th, and neighbors found the dogs that were dead the next day. The suspect's realtor told investigators that she saw several dogs in the home prior to move out, and she said the suspects refused to help to relocate the animals.
Right now, the 2 do not have attorneys listed, but we will reach out when that becomes available.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to KXAN News Today as we take a live look outside of the Austonian on what is called a chilly day this morning. Rich Siegel says it's chilly, not so much cold. Cold you're going to feel tomorrow.
Cold's coming.
Yeah, but this is a great day, of course, to get out there and run. And before you do that, get your phone and scan the QR code that you see on your screen. That's going to take you to our Friendsgiving Challenge website where you can donate to the Central Texas Food Bank. The nonprofit serves 90,000 people every week. And for every dollar you give to the food bank, it can provide 3 meals. When you do go in there and give, make sure you give to the Morning Teams Challenge.
We need some help right now, so we would appreciate that. All right, well, we're getting our first look at 2 of the new floats that are featured in the 98th Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Here they are. First up, Strikes Again by Go Bowling. And look at this. There's a fully kinetic bowler and platform. And then next, there's a new float that is featuring Wednesday and Pugsley Addams of the Addams family. Macy's said more than 100 hours of work went into sculpting the faces of both of those characters. Plenty of other floats to keep an eye on. You can watch the parade live, of course, here on KXAN on Thanksgiving Day.
Wednesday looks perfectly unhappy, so that's probably the best thing. That's our best look. That's our happiest look.
Apparently there's a new Addams Family show on Netflix, which is why they're doing this. I haven't seen that.
No.
Sounds like you are very aware.
Well, there's a cool dance that I'll show you later on in the break that she does. So yeah, Wednesday Addams
Why
pretty
wait
popular.
for the break?
Oh, well, no, I'm not for me to show you on the video.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Let's see it.
Okay, so my definition of
Yes.
cool is sweaters and jackets. My definition of cold is overcoats.
Okay.
That's the
So
difference.
it's cool,
I'd say.
not cold.
Yeah, so it's chilly today
Yeah.
and then cold tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So we're
But the
sweater
wind-
weather.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Officially.
The wind will not be as strong tomorrow morning, so we won't have much of a wind chill, but we'll have several in the 30s. But first things first, check the Austonian. This is the view overlooking the northeast sky. You can see I-35 on the right side of your picture. Traffic is flowing nice there right now, but we do have a brisk breeze with some wind gusts exceeding 20 miles per hour now. The cold front has slipped through the area. It arrived in the Austin area between 1 and 2. I think it got here around 1:30 or so, and it left us with the wind gusts right now south of Houston in San Antonio. Behind it, high pressure over the northwestern panhandle ridging back towards us is leading to that north wind that we have. That high will get closer to us, and the closer it gets to us, the wind speeds get a little bit lower. Yesterday, not quite 84. We made it to 82, 12 above normal and within 5 of the record. Today, after noontime temperatures in the low to mid 60s, we will heat up, if you will, to mostly the mid and upper 60s on a day where the normal high is 70. All right, then we've got 9 o'clock winds. Once the sun goes down, this air is going to cool very rapidly. The combination of a clear sky, dry wind or light wind and dry air. 9 o'clock temperatures will be in the upper half of the 40s to low 50s. These are forecast lows for Thursday morning. We're still seeing several mid-30s out in the hill country, and then you cross I-35 mid and upper 30s. A few will likely stay above 40, 42. There won't be much of a wind chill in the morning because the winds will be light. And in some of the colder pockets, especially in the hill country, some of those low-lying drainage areas, we may get temperatures at 32 or below, and then we'll recover to mostly the lower 70s for our high temperatures on Thursday afternoon. All right, that's the temperature profile. We're looking, by the way, for that dry air to continue. Sunshine today. We're going to wind this all the way out to 72 hours from now and only seeing a few passing clouds, and that's about the extent of it on Saturday morning. But it's going to, again, the dry air mass will continue. Wind gusts around 15 to 25 during the morning on to the noon hour. We may have a few that get higher than 25, but then the speeds start to drop off as we get to 3 o'clock today. We're looking at most gusts at around 15 to 20 and even lower wind speeds as we get to 6 o'clock today. There is a wildfire danger. It is high to very high for some of the eastern part of our viewing area, very high from Austin on over through the airport and into Cedar Creek, and also a very high threshold south of San Marcos heading on into the New Braunfels area. From the First Warning Weather Center, 68 for the high today. Again, a north wind 10 to 15 and gusty. Clear tonight. In the morning, in town 40, light north to northwest wind. In the outlying areas, mid and upper 30s. 73 tomorrow, mid 70s on Friday. We'll be in the upper 70s on Saturday and back in the 80s Sunday into early next week.
Okay, Rich, thank you so much for that. More Texas land is going to go towards border protection. The Texas General Land Office is offering President-elect Donald Trump 1,400-acre ranch. Could serve as a site to build detention centers for his promised mass deportations of undocumented immigrants. Commissioner Don Buckingham announcing it in a letter to the incoming president. We told you last month that the state bought a ranch in Starr County. That is over in South Texas. And it's in a response posted on social media about the letter. But Buckingham said that she was fully committed to using every tool at her disposal to help keep American families safe. According to the Texas Tribune, a Trump spokesperson has not yet responded to that comment.
This is a story that gripped the nation 3 decades ago. Susan Smith pleading on national television for her 2 young sons, Michael and Alexander, to be found, claiming a black man hijacked her car with them inside. Those pleas, though, a cover-up for a murder she committed after drowning those boys in a lake. Since 1994, Smith served a 30-year prison sentence, but this morning a parole board in South Carolina will begin the deliberation of whether to grant her freedom. Among those planning to be there and speak is Smith's ex-husband, David. Ahead of the hearing, he sat down with today's Craig Melvin.
Your ex-wife is going to face a parole board, and you're going to be there. What do you plan to say?
They can't let her out. For 30 years is just not enough. This wasn't an accident. She deliberately killed Michael and Alex.
You don't think she's been rehabilitated?
I don't think she'll ever be rehabilitated. To me, she's never even been really sorry for what she did.
Tune in this morning for more of Craig's exclusive interview with David Smith, including his biggest fear if his ex-wife is granted release. Back here closer to home, routine audits of UT Austin's websites are starting to flag some words related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is known as DEI. It's part of the university's effort to find potential programs or events they say are no longer allowed.
A post of some of these words circulated online, and that has state lawmakers banning DEI on public university campuses, saying they did this earlier this year. Words like diversity, gay, lesbian, social justice, and others are reportedly among terms flagged on UT Austin's website in a routine audit. The university says it is part of an ongoing effort to stay in compliance with that new law that bans diversity, equity, and inclusion on public campuses. UT says the words it flags are not banned or deleted from their website or any curriculum.
In a statement, it told us the university routinely scans its website as a means to identify programming or events unrelated to academic and research functions that may not be permitted under SB 17. The scans were first implemented in fall 2023 in advance of the law's effective date and include a list of terms that are guides for identifying potentially non-compliant functions that require review. UT says it found less than 1% of the content highlighted in these scans are actually in violation of the rules. Also this morning, Netflix is reporting that big fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson over the weekend is the most streamed sporting event ever. 65 million live streams all at one time, 108 million viewers around the world. And Netflix, not the first streaming service to offer up live sports. We know Amazon has Thursday Night Football, and then NBC actually streamed an NFL playoff game last season.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning, all. Happy Wednesday. We're not talking about it being 8 days from Thanksgiving enough. With this holiday comes major responsibility. You just have to take down minimum 1,500 calories on the main meal. You can get more after that. I've been a pro at this for years. And other responsibilities watching football because it's getting real here later in the year. College football playoff rankings coming out a night ago, as they always do on Tuesday. Texas number 3 overall, but the two teams ahead of them both in the Big Ten. So because Texas is the second highest ranked non-Big Ten team right now, they beat the number 2 team and get a first round bye. But still some football left to be played. Texas being ranked number 3 in the country and being a legit contender for a national title. Quite the far cry from how things used to be. Yeah, we probably show this video too much. Lost against Kansas a couple years ago. But think about this for the senior class. That 5-7 season when they're new to the program to this level of success is quite the miraculous turnaround. These guys that have stuck through it, guys like Gunnar Helm, veteran tight end. On the defensive side, some local products like Jahdae Barron, Alfred Collins, and sixth-year guy David Benda as well, means so much to this program and Steve Sarkisian. So let's hear from Sark and the players on how they got here.
Super grateful for these guys, and you know, I owe a ton to them. And you know, I get a little emotional about this stuff because without this group, we wouldn't be where we are. And so I'm like I said, I'm very grateful and thankful for them.
You know, I would just say, with all those guys being in our class, this was the class that had to lay the foundation, that had to get the culture turned around. And you know, I think that we've done a great job, but everyone's bought in, so it makes our jobs a whole lot easier.
Okay, among those seniors, Jahdae Barron, senior day this Saturday against Kentucky. He went through senior day a season ago, so this is his second time. We asked him, what are the emotions going to be this Saturday?
I don't know, because I did it last year, so I don't know. I don't know. This one, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was sad last year, but this one really, knowingly that I actually can't come back ever again. So I'm gonna drop some real gangster tears out there.
Yes, he did say gangster tears. Jahdae Barron and the Texas Longhorns hosting Kentucky this weekend at 2:30. The official pregame show of Texas football's Texas Game Day airs an hour before each game. This Saturday at 1:30 over on KBVO, our friends Jonathan Thomas and Texas football legends Dan Neal, Alex Okafor will bring you all the action from DKR. I think Tom Miller actually shed some gangster tears himself with Arizona State's football win this past weekend. It's understandable. The Sun Devils are having a heck of a season. That's it for sports. We'll send it back over to you.
I also shed some gangster tears from Arizona State's win. But coming up, neighbors are fed up with the high speeds along a busy road in Manor. Why one parent says it can be dangerous taking his son to school. And if you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you join us on air for that. Or you can always find these stories over on KXAN.com.